But the point is, going out with your best friend's ex-girlfriend while you still live with your best friend, that kind of thing would be considered a little weird here in the U.S.
Actually, it'd be quite weird in New Zealand as well. Jermaine, you should think about that. I've told you, when you're in a band, you don't get with your bandmate's girlfriend, past or present.
Yes, well, thanks for that.
You get a love triangle, Fleetwood Mac situation. Although there was 4 of them, so more of a love square, but, no one gets on.
Okay, I see.
Mind you, they did make some of their best music back then.
Rumours?
No, that's all true.
TBTL. This is a show for dogs.
About dogs.
Starring one dog.
And one dirty dog.
So let's maximize our fun quadrant tonight.
It's an amazing collection of bad ideas.
I feel like we're just like in that tired mode where you're delirious and you're laughing at silly things.
They say, you snooze, you lose. Well, we snossed. And look what we lost.
All right. Hello, good morning, and welcome, everyone, to a Thursday edition of TBTL, the show that just might be too beautiful to live.
I just want to hug this show and never let it go.
My name's Luke Burbank. I'm your host.
Sooner or later, gentlemen, you will eat your words.
Coming to you from the Madrona Hill studio, perched high above the mighty Columbia.
Bring it back home, baby. Bring it back home.
Golly. Feels nice to be home. I guess I was only out of the studio for 3 days. It feels longer for some reason. I guess because I was in multiple cities, but it's a beautiful sight. The mighty Columbia and southern Washington.
Oh,
and,
Ma, Pa, it's just beautiful.
Tell you what's not beautiful: the lawn. Just when I get on top of it last week, I leave town and I come back and we've got a whole situation here. But I aim to fix that. But not before I've helped deliver episode 4,742 in a collector's series to all of you.
Let the fun begin.
There's a guy selling baklava on the streets of New York City.
Here's my sweet stash. Let's freaking party.
He's becoming kind of like a cult hero, actually. And he's using the name Roy Donk, which is why the story jumped off the pages of the New York Times for me. We will endeavor to get... We've had almost no success at getting to any of the top stories this week. But maybe today will be that day. I don't know. I'm back home. I'm feeling good. I'm ready to go. It's a Blur's Day Thursday.
It's my birthday today.
So we got a lot going for us on the program today, including the fact that this guy is going to be joining us. He's the longest-running Cobra of the show.
So explain that.
Maybe best known for his depictions of the tall ships. He's Andrew Walsh, and he's joining me right now. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning, Luke. I doubt you even remember this with all of the travels. You probably feel like you've crossed an ocean of time to get here today after everything you've been up to. But at
to
the
be
very
with you.
To be with me.
In the parlance of Bram Stoker.
At the
although I don't think Bram Stoker really did he write that, or did whoever wrote the screenplay for that?
That I don't know. I've
never
gone to the source material on that, but at the very end of yesterday's show, I said, I have something I want you to arbitrate for me.
Oh, yeah.
There's something between me and a radio commercial I've been hearing a lot. And unfortunately, I was hoping to maybe spend some time tracking down that radio commercial. I was not able to do so. It's really hard to find archives of radio commercials on the internet. And so anyway, but let me just explain it to you. But it turns out I don't need you to arbitrate it. The internet arbitrated it for me. Am I saying arbitrate a lot? And
one of well-known, accurate arbitrator, the internet.
The internet, right?
The place where things are usually hashed out, I think, in a fair, just, and measured way.
Exactly. I posted it on X, the Everything app, and just let the replies come in. Really what this has become, it was going to be sort of a, hey, what the heck is going on? This is bad copywriting, right? To, oh, wow, Andrew is really
loud wrong.
Just loud wrong and out of it. I mean, listen to this. So this commercial, and I can't even remember what it's for, although it doesn't really matter to the story. There's a there's like a campaign going on for some product or service where the point is, it's kind of along the lines of like, okay is not good enough or whatever, like those old AT&T commercials. And it starts off with a voiceover saying, a good DJ wouldn't let the bass drop poorly or something along the lines of that. It's just like, and then they'll like play a bunch of music because radio commercials are different than TV commercials, right? They're always looking for like ways they can illustrate things using audio cues instead of video, right? And I do think that's an interesting, I do think that's an interesting thing about radio ads and the way they always still feel antiquated because they're just not the same as TV ads. And so even though I said that in a very awkward way, the point is something like, you know, a good DJ is always going to make sure the bass drops right or something along the lines of that. The awkward way I said that wasn't my problem. And then they'll play like a build up to like, you know, a club and you hear it, the beat is
about
ready
to
to drop. And then it drops, but instead of being good, it's like some sort of like hillbilly music. You know what I mean? Or some sort of old timey, something with accordions or something like that. No offense to hillbillies. Don't come at me. Do hillbillies have internet? Are they going to be emailing me?
I believe we have at this point electrified most of hillbilly country.
Okay, great. So if I'm blocking any emails that come in from hillbilly.net. All of that is to say, she doesn't say beat drop. She says bass drop. And I was like, bass drop? Don't you mean beat drop? Like, what is this something people are saying? Like, is this something the kids are saying now? Let the bass drop? And then as I Googled just 10 minutes ago before we dialed up, I was like, oh yeah, I gotta see if I can find that commercial. I type in something about radio commercial, bass drop, and I see that T-Pain had a song 20 years ago called Let the Bass Drop. Apparently, people have been letting the bass drop for a long time. I always thought beats dropped. I didn't know you could drop bass.
I feel like maybe this is an age thing, but first of all, I don't think T-Pain writing one song 20 years ago necessarily exonerates the people who wrote this commercial. Because I would say, because there's also Let the Beat Drop
that's a
I
thing.
would say there are more songs that say let the beat drop than let the bass drop.
Now I do know that I don't question whether or not let the beat drop is a thing. I'm not worried about has I Berenstain bared myself or whatever.
Hold on, let me put on my sunglasses and get my 2 scoops of raisins.
Right, exactly. And so I knew that let the beat drop was a thing, but I was like, oh, was this written by somebody who thinks it's bass instead of beat and it made it through the system? That seemed wrong to me, even as bad as some commercials can be. I was like, that doesn't seem right. But I looked
it
up.
Generational as well.
Maybe.
I wonder, if I were to text Addie and say, is it let the beat drop or let the bass drop?
She should probably say she'd probably say both. That's why I'm not trying to set it up as an either or. I'm trying to set it up as, was bass drop, has this been a thing? And if you just write bass drop, you get a lot of people talking about how long does it take for the bass to drop or whatever. Let me see. You know what I mean? People are using it. What is a bass drop? A drop in music, a drop or a beat drop in music in EDM. Okay, that's Wikipedia. Wikipedia is not on board with the bass thing.
You know what? I honestly, unfortunately, Andrew, I think I'm going to have to almost maybe even side with the ad wizards who wrote this one. Because if I'm thinking about it, there can be a beat in the buildup to when the bass drops. It is not, because really what's dropping is a massive, I don't want to brag, Andrew, but I've been on side stage with Skrillex, noted bass or beat dropper. And now I know you're right, and I'm right. There are lots of songs that say let the beat drop. So it's been called the beat, but I think if we're being super duper kind of specific about it, wouldn't you say that when there's it's, let's just say it's some kind of electro house, what is the kind that Skrillex specifically did, not dubstep, but
I don't know if I would know. If you say
there was a term for that particular kind. Anyway, it's it's basically something is building and building and building and building and building and building, and then there's this moment when the beat or bass drops and everybody goes crazy. Everybody throws their glow sticks in the air, which I'm not gonna lie, is pretty fucking cool and kind of cathartic. I was at, this was, back when we had some kind of sneaky backstage access to Sasquatch many years ago. And by the way, my friend Lynn Resnick just randomly sent me a photo the other day of me and Brittany Murphy from the Alabama Shakes backstage there. And you probably were part of that.
There. Yeah, I recorded that one, yeah.
And I was just we weren't in the act of recording. It was maybe afterwards. And I was just like, oh my God, my hair was so brown. I was so, and then I sent the picture to Becca. I was like, I guess I don't know what I was hoping for from, but she goes, "Wow, you look really out of it in that picture." I was like, "Well, that's also probably true. I was probably, day 4 of a 9-day bender or whatever." But
in fact, I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but when you started winding up for this story about Sasquatch, I think you're talking about. I think you and Genevieve were both maybe in the crowd for this big beat drop
Skrillex situation.
Oh, was that Skrillex? Maybe I'm wrong.
Yes.
Maybe I'm thinking of a different one. But I know there was another time where you and Genevieve were in the middle of a dance crowd and beats were dropping, and you guys had also gotten into some things, and I was not with you.
Sure.
I think I was maybe standing. I was standing somewhere else, kind of out of the crowd, and then you guys kind of came out of the crowd like you had just survived something, sort of like it was a
that
little
might
bit
have been
overwhelming.
Skrillex.
Yeah,
but we were side stage, and I was at that time I was not really up to speed on. There were these two. There was, I think it was Skrillex, and then there was another DJ whose name is Feed Them with Teeth, and you know me, that's already like no thanks. That already sounds a little hard rock to me.
You're still getting used to the violent femmes. I mean, come on.
To this day, I just have my suspicions.
Yeah.
So I remember, I think maybe it was like, one of them would feed them with teeth, feed somebody with something, and also like maybe a different night, Skrillex or whatever, or the same night or the same bill. But I just remember being up there, kind of on the side of the stage, and watching this throng of people and kind of experiencing the buildup of all of this energy towards this moment of when is this bass going to drop or beat going to drop, and then it does, and everyone like throws their gloves. They go into like a orgiastic ecstasy not seen since that one scene in The Matrix when everyone's on Zion and they're just like just in the full, like they've just dosed this entire crowd with Molly or something. You remember that scene from The Matrix?
No,
just vibing and grinding. Have you seen The Matrix?
I'm all over the place. I cannot find any. Like, Google will not play ball with Feed Them with Teeth at all. Like, I'm typing in EDM Feed Them. I'm typing in EDM Teeth. I'm typing Google. If you type in Feed Them with Teeth, you get some advice on teething babies, which I'm actually interested in. So I'm going to bookmark this.
Feed me with teeth.
Feed me with teeth. Okay, is that it? You find it?
I think I threw out a few different options. Yeah, this is definitely a person.
Feed me with teeth. Oh, feed me with teeth. That's what that is. Okay, gotcha. I was just curious what that was. To answer your question about The Matrix, I saw it under duress one time on video cassette. Yeah, I had a friend who was like way too into it when it kind of came out, and I just remember being very leery of the whole thing, and then I finally sat down and watched it with him, and I remember the whole time just being like overrated. But I don't know. I was maybe
being you've been red pilled. You took too many red pills.
Yeah, maybe I did.
Maybe one less red pill.
Yeah, I honestly, you know what I was on? I'm not even joking. I bet you I had taken too many red. Oh shoot,
stripes.
Not red stripes, but it was a beer that had Red Dog. Wasn't Red Dog a kind of? It was like the cheap beer you could get in bottles. Yeah. It was the cheapest bottled beer you could get in the early 2000s or late 90s, I think. Anyway, I was Red Dogged is the problem.
I think I was never one of those. I was never one of those guys for whom The Matrix was like my favorite movie or it defined me or how I thought about life. But I must have seen it at just sort of the right time without too much hype, because I remember thinking, "Wow, this is a really a new frontier of filmmaking." Also, first of all, just the concept I thought was very interesting from a kind of, I guess, a sci-fi perspective of basically living in a simulation, and the legitimate question of like, if we are living in a simulation and you find out, do you want to go back to the simulation unknowingly, or do you want to be cursed to have the knowledge that it's a simulation? So for its sort of over the topness and some of the things that I was like, this isn't exactly a subtle film. I think I enjoyed it. I certainly enjoyed it more than you, but I also wasn't watching it with someone who was like, dude, this movie will change your life.
And I really liked the person. By the way, this was a friend of mine who I liked, and I follow. He introduced me to a lot of things. He introduced me to Radiohead, kind of near the. I mean, they were whatever. The Benz was just coming out. Like, he was a man who I respected and admired and looked up to a lot. So I don't know why his obsession with The Matrix, but I think I was at that phase where I was kind of getting into maybe movies that other people didn't like as much, and so therefore I thought that anything mainstream was too mainstreamy. Hey, this is a huge change in the conversation. I promise you, I don't want to take up the rest of the show with this, but I just got a little bit distracted by something, and this is related to something I was considering bringing up on the show today. I'm going to try to tell this story quickly, and then during the break, I think I'm going to have to make a quick phone call. But today is a weird day for me. Nothing's wrong, by the way. That sounded weird, but this day has been circled on the calendar for a long time because, as you know, Luke, I definitely mentioned this off air, and I might have mentioned it on air. The doctor that I've been going to for the past couple of years, who's like the first doctor that I really like and feel like I've actually gotten into a rhythm with my healthcare with, he is moving from the Swedish facility, the Swedish healthcare facility here in Ballard, which is like a pretty quick bus ride away for me.
To the fish facility over in Bellevue.
To the Swedish fish facility. And it turns out all of his treatments...
He could have gone with chef or fish.
All of his treatments. He dresses up like a fish. He dresses up like a fish and throws chefs into my Swedish chefs into my mouth. No, and I know I told you this off air, but he is moving his practice over to Redmond. For people who don't know this area, Redmond is on the other side of the lake. It's a city in and of itself, and I never go over to the east side, as we sometimes mention on the show, because I live in a smaller and smaller circle of my neighborhood. But I was like, I have a decision to make here. Do I find a new doctor at the facility that is convenient for me here in Ballard, or do I follow my doctor over to Redmond and then have to take, what would it take? Like middle of the day, getting near rush hour. That's like a 45-minute drive, probably, when you include like getting out of this city and then getting over there. Maybe 30 minutes. I don't know. You can tell me.
Yeah,
if I'm wrong.
Very traffic dependent. But you could jam over on I-5. Probably it'd probably take you to 520.
Yeah,
and take you across versus going over, north. But anyway, probably
that's
45
exactly.
minutes to be safe.
And actually, that 520 thing is sort of relevant depending on how far we want to get into this. But I've had it circled on my calendar because I'm like, okay, now I didn't really need a doctor's appointment right now. I'm not going there for anything other than, and this does speak to the medical system that we live in these days, and it's so jacked up. Both of these facilities are Swedish facilities. They're the same company. But because the doctor is moving and setting up his practice across the lake in Redmond, I now was told that I sort of have to treat this like I'm a new patient with him. I have to now reestablish care in Redmond with my current doctor. And for the past 3 months, he has still sort of been in this gray area of kind of overseeing my prescription refills and stuff like that, but I need to reestablish care with him at the Redmond facility, which is ridiculous in a lot of ways. And so I've had this appointment, which is basically establish care with your new doctor in Redmond. And I was planning on probably driving over there. We now have a train that goes from Seattle to Redmond. But I was looking at that today, and it turns out that taking a series of buses is actually quicker than taking the train because the train goes so far south and crosses 90 instead of 520, like you just mentioned. And so I've had this it's at least a 90-minute trip without a car, using public transport to get over there. And Genevieve needs the car for the last day of puppy kindergarten today. So this is a lot of detail. But I have been trying to figure out, and it's also a $100 Lyft ride for me to get to the Redmond campus. So I'm not going to do that, obviously. So this morning I've been like, I don't know, am I going to take a series of buses that shave a little bit of time off of this, or do I just take the really long train ride? And I have this book that I need to read anyway, so I can just kind of be in one place. And I was going to ask you your opinions on this whole thing. But the reason I'm distracted right now is I just got a phone call. I felt my phone buzzing while we were talking, and I didn't recognize the number, so I just sent it to voicemail. And then immediately I got an email from, My Chart. Everybody knows what My Chart is, right? It's like the way your doctors communicate with you. And it just says, hello, Andrew. I just want to make sure you're going to the correct location today for your appointment with Dr. Richter. That's his name if anybody wants to stalk me or him.
Oh, from the scale?
Yeah. The scale guy. And it says
Shit, no wonder you're following him. That's a big name.
And it says Swedish Prime. Oh, my God. This whole story was stupid. No, they are confirming that I'm going to Redmond. I thought she was saying
You really let the bass drop on
I
that story.
really did. I thought she was saying I need to make my way over to Ballard one last time, not Redmond.
That would be amazing.
And that's
If
what
you
I
had to
thought.
go to-
That's the
if
whole
you had
thing.
to go to Ballard to check in to make sure they knew that you were going. You had to check in with your phlebotomist you don't like in Ballard to then go to Redmond.
That's
to
why I
establish your
shouldn't
care
be
again.
reading while I'm talking to you. I thought that this whole thing, because this has been a whole pain. Like, I'm like, how am I going to get over there today? Do I take the long, like 90 minutes to get to a doctor's appointment is kind of BS, to be honest with you. I mean, again, it's because I don't have access to the car today, but that's, we're a one-car family. That's not uncommon either. So I guess I do have to make this trip.
Vives. Vives could take Lucy in an Uber. There are dog-friendly Ubers. It's right there on
That's
the thing,
true.
and that might be a lot cheaper to go to
go to
Interbay and
the
back.
yeah.
I don't know. I
That's
don't know
true.
what that runs from your house, but there are maybe other solutions too. But I'm with you on the if you can just I think the train is maybe the way to go. Or what I was going to say is, I read many, many, many pages of this Jeff Chang book last night on my flight home from Houston to here, which is for Livewire tonight. We're at the Alberta Rose Theater. He wrote this book about Bruce Lee, and sometimes for me, it's like when I'm trapped on a sort of a conveyance or a mode of transport where I'm not driving it. It's a really good time for me to just get into something.
Yeah.
So you could almost just see it as study time,
That's what I have been
Reframe it.
doing. Yeah, I said, this has been sort of circled on my calendar and my mental calendar in a way that's been a little bit of a stressor, but also okay, I have a plan for this. I've been waiting for this book to show up in the mail so that I can actually sit down with it and start taking notes on it and whatever. And so the book just showed up 2 nights ago, and I'm like, okay, my plan is to really get into this on my long ass commute over to the east side so I can reestablish care with the doctor that I've been seeing for 2.5 years or whatever. So that is my plan, and I think I'm going to take the longer route. I don't want to take a bus to right now it's bus to a train to a bus that takes me over the lake, back to another bus to get there or whatever. So I think I'm
get
just
on
gonna,
a train and just sit there.
and it adds a little bit more time because it goes all the way south to 90. But I'm just going to do that, and I'm going to sit in the train. And then once I arrive in Redmond, I'm just going to call a Lyft, I think. Unless
There you
the
go.
bus shows
Last
up
mile
right
it.
there, last mile it, and just get over
Smart.
there. And I might even, just because I've never done this trip before, I'm also sort of excited to take the train across the lake, right?
Yeah.
That's not something we get to do a lot. And so I'm just going to leave.
I think that's the only train of its kind that goes across a floating bridge, right? Doesn't it have some
believe
distinction,
so.
actually?
I believe so, because there aren't that many floating bridges, I don't think, in the world, generally speaking. So my plan is just to get out of here right after the show, and I'm going to just buffer the hell out of this day.
Oh, bet.
And I'm going to take the book over there, because I don't know when I'm going to have a lot of time to just sit down and dig into this. If I can get through half this book or something today, I'll bet you do you think there are any cafes in Redmond, Luke?
No.
That's a bummer.
Not since the anti-cafe law of 2015
people
in
were
Redmond.
hanging around those Redmond cafes.
People were just they were sitting around, they were thinking big ideas.
Too big.
They were planning to overthrow the
Redmond City Council.
They were going to take over the means of production. They were smoking clove cigarettes.
Right, exactly.
All right. What you don't want to do is, Andrew, if you can avoid it, I would say try to stay off of Lyft and Uber in the city of Houston, Texas, which is something I've been doing a lot of lately with very mixed results. Two of the more memorable and not maybe in the greatest way Lyft rides that I've had in a while were both in Houston the last 2 days, Monday and then, I guess in the last, Monday and Wednesday. Monday, I was going out from the hotel to where we were filming. The thing about Houston I was telling you is that it's got this big freeway loop around it, and somehow it's just wherever I am in Houston, I'm on the think of it as a clock, and wherever I am in Houston, I'm trying to get to the other side of the clock for some reason, and it's just a nightmare of sort of not efficient road travel for some reason, and there's a lot of traffic. So on Monday, I get in a car with a very friendly and talkative guy, which is cool. I enjoyed talking to him to some degree, but we kept getting into these conversations that I didn't really know how to get out of or how to sort of relate to him. He was a guy, he was from Egypt originally, was living in the Houston area because his wife had gotten a job in the oil industry in Houston, and he is an electrical engineer by training. And he's telling me this whole story about their kids, and how they had lived in Dubai together, and he had this amazing job where he managed like 500 people and was traveling the world, and now he's in Houston and he can't get a job. No one will hire him. And, part of me is like, that's just so weird to go from being someone who's the boss of 500 people to like, no one will hire you. Like, I'm already just like, I wonder what's going on with this story. It could be true. It could be his version of events. He's telling me about his kids, which is great. And then his wife, somehow that comes up again. He goes, it's kind of a sad story because we're divorced now. And I said, oh, I'm really sorry to hear that. He goes, yeah, she got over here and she just wanted too much freedom. And I was like, ooh, all right. Well, I don't know how to really process that information. And he's like, and I have the kids now and they don't see her. We don't even know where she is. It's just me and the kids. And he goes, I just want someone to touch me. Just touch me on my head. I'm very lonely. And I was like, well, maybe you can date someone and they'll touch you on your head. He goes, that's a big thing with Islam is, the number one rule is you cannot have sex before marriage. And I said, well, maybe don't have sex. Maybe just like have that be the ground rules of the relationship.
You're really engaging. You're really offering solutions.
I have 40 minutes with this guy. What am I supposed to do? He's telling me how he's lonely and wants someone to touch him on the head but not have sex with him. And I'm like, well, maybe that can be the rules. He goes, well, but then I don't know if I can trust myself. And I was like, well, that's kind of on you. You're going to have to figure that one out. Then I go, I come from the Christian background, which is like, all sins are equal. Like coveting something is the same as murdering someone. I go, is that how it is in Islam? He goes, no. There's a couple that are like unforgivable. He goes, one is like sex outside of marriage and the other is drinking alcohol. And he goes, I do drink alcohol sometimes. And I'm like, well, the heck, bro?
Mm-hmm.
You're drinking alcohol.
Did you tell him about soaking?
I did. I got some friends in Utah that I'm going to put on speakerphone.
You're giving them pamphlets.
I mean, I'm really like, and this is not the kind of conversation where I can just stare out the window and not respond. Like so it's like, okay, so let me understand this, my friend. So, you're raising your kids. And I'm like, well, why wouldn't you move back to, he goes, my friends are calling me all the time from Dubai saying like, we want to give you a job. We want to hire you again. I go, well, you can move back there. He goes, well, I don't want my daughter to grow up there because it's just, I go back there and I can't even handle it anymore. It's so much better for her in the West. And I'm like, okay, good. This is a positive. I'm glad you're thinking about it this way. But then he's like, so there's only two unforgivable sins in Islam. One is drinking alcohol and the other is having sex outside of marriage. He goes, but sometimes I drink. And I'm like, well, you're already going to hell then. I didn't say that, but I'm thinking, what is going on with you that like, so I go, well, again, maybe you can date someone and just have there be ground rules or something. And he's like, yeah, but I don't know if I can trust myself. Then he starts telling me stories of like when he used to travel for work, when he was an international electrical engineering superstar, and how he would, let's just say, visit various places where there was various levels of like sex work going on and engaging with it. And I'm just like, I don't know. I'm just like, look, I'm feverishly updating the app for how close are we to the restaurant where we're filming? Because again, it was like, I had no useful information to offer this guy other than, bro, whatever rules you think you're following, you're not doing a good job. So either friggin' relax and live your life or get way better at being a Muslim. Because based on your description of things, you're doing a bad job of it, but feeling bad all the time, but your life is ruined, but also you're not exactly sticking to the rules. What are we doing here?
He just likes the sound of his own voice, too, I think.
Which is fine if he wants to talk about soccer. He's talking about wanting his head touched and massages he's received.
I honestly, no offense,
in Thailand.
I know that you know way more about soccer than I do, but I feel like you have more to offer in this conversation than you do in a conversation about soccer, don't you?
I mean, let me tell you what, Andrew. I have a lot to offer on a variety of topics.
Yes, you do.
So that's Monday. And then, by the way, this is the other thing. We're getting close. We're out in a very random part of Houston. And that I mean, like, it's just kind of it's out in the for farther reaches of Houston. And we're on our way to this little mini kind of strip mall where there's this particular seafood restaurant that we're going to be filming at that's relevant to this Viet Cajun story. And like, as we're getting closer, I say to him, oh, yeah, you're taking me to this restaurant called Mike's Seafood because I'm going to interview the owner because he's an immigrant from Vietnam who's kind of been big with this particular kind of cuisine, Viet Cajun, and we're doing a TV story. And I came out here from Portland and like absolutely no impact on him. and this is to your point, Andrew, of he just likes to hear his own voice. Like, I'm not saying he needs to ask for my autograph, but like the person who's in the back of your car being like, I'm here with a television crew to film at this restaurant about a style of cuisine, which, by the way, there I am with a by the way. All that is to say, Andrew, I don't even like to bring that up generally because with people that I'm getting a Lyft ride from or whatever, because I don't know. I just don't really care to talk about it. In anything to get us off of his particular relationship with sex work at Islam. And again, he is totally unfazed by the fact that I'm telling him that I'm a TV personality here in the U.S. and you're taking me to where a television shoot is going to happen. So that was Monday. And then yesterday, we're filming at a different restaurant in Houston called Crawfish and Noodles. Really good, by the way. Cannot recommend it highly enough. Delicious. Vietnamese food and Viet Cajun food. And I had this all figured out. I brought my suitcase. I brought my luggage there because I was going to have to go directly from the restaurant to the airport. But I had enough time. I was like, as long as I had like Wazed it and mapped it, and I'd been like, this is about 35 minutes from the airport. My flight's at 5:57. As long as I'm in the car by like even 4, I'm like way ahead of the game. And the owner of the restaurant is just this absolutely lovely guy, and he just keeps wanting to feed us and the crew. So after we filmed me eating all this food with him, he then sets this huge table. He's closed the entire restaurant down for this film shoot, and he set this beautiful table for our sound guy, camera guy, producer, me, everybody, his son. Like, it's great. So there's now like a second wave of food and dining, and I don't want to be impolite, so I'm sitting there and I'm eating, and I look. It's like 3:00 right now. And I noticed it's been raining all day, pretty heavy duty rain in Houston. And I just kind of think, well, let me just triple check what's going on with my ride situation. And maybe it's 3:15 now. And I look down and it says, if I leave this minute, I will be arriving at the airport in Houston at 5:15. What is supposed to be a 35-minute ride is right now shaping up to be about 1 hour and 45 minutes or something, or 1 hour and 35 minutes. It's got a full extra hour added to it. And I'm like, oh, shoot. So I immediately hit go on the rideshare app. And luckily, there's a guy who it turns out is right across the street. I didn't know this. He's like having his lunch in his car at a different location, but close by. And so I say to everybody, hey, I just realized I got to hit the road right now. Traffic's going to be pretty nuts.
This is a flight you really... Oh, wait, this is your flight to...
This is my flight home.
This is your flight home, yeah, because you said this is last night. Yes, this is a
Yes.
flight you especially... I mean, listen, nobody wants to miss any flights, but, like, I'm just guessing that you are very excited to get on this flight home.
Well, more than that, I can't be in Houston this morning because I have Livewire tonight.
Yeah.
Like, so that's like why I was not traveling at all today. I cannot be stuck in Houston today because I have to go to this theater tonight in front of a bunch of people and do this show that will not be occurring if I'm not there. So I really needed to be like home in my own bed at whatever hour it occurred last night. Oh, by the way, when I got to the airport, not to jump to the end of the story, but I'm waiting for the plane, and the lady comes on and is like, all right, we don't have a crew yet, so everyone just hang on. They'll be here in a half hour. So we're waiting. The crew gets there. They board the plane. She goes, all right, everybody sit back down. It turns out the plane was struck by lightning on the way in. So we got to double check that. Everybody sit back down. The plane I was like, we should double check the lightning strike. We should make sure that didn't fry anything. But so I jump in the car. The guy pulls right up. I throw my stuff in the back. He's very gregarious.
Does the car smell like food? Does it smell like his lunch? I've had that before.
No. Although I might have been nose blind at this point, Andrew. I'd been eating all manner of food all day. Was stuffed, actually. I jump in the car. He's very gregarious, but there's a pretty severe language barrier. He is from Cuba, it turns out. His English is pretty limited, and my Spanish is very limited. What I really have to deploy, and it's a cute joke for a minute, but it wears thin pretty quickly, is tu inglés está mejor de mi español. Your English is better than my Spanish. That is what I will often say. It will get a laugh. Now, the problem was I deployed that within the first 2 minutes of the ride. And we got about an hour, 40 minutes together. And what I'm realizing is this guy did not fully grasp what he was signing up for picking me up. Because, as I would come to learn over the course of the drive, he lived about 10 minutes away, maybe 5 minutes away from where he picked me up. He had just gone out to grab some lunch and then was going to make a couple of extra bucks. And now he is locked in a hour and 30 to 40 minute rain-soaked traffic drive, and it's making him crazy. He is going through all the different, he keeps checking different map quests, to see if there's a better one, and what, and then he'll switch to like Google Maps, and it'll say the same amount of time, and then he'll say something in Spanish that I'm not fully tracking, and then he'll sort of in broken English say something to me about he's pointing out now as we're stuck in traffic, he's pointing out how far we are now getting from his house, how long the drive is going to be back to his house where he just was essentially. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. I'm Googling how do I say I'm sorry in Spanish. I don't really I don't want to. Yeah, that's what they said.
Is it Lo Siento?
That's what they said on Ask Jeeves.
I'm literally trying to reach back to my high school Spanish. I wasn't sure if I was right about that.
But it's it is the tensest ride ever because he's so annoyed about this. He's trying to tell me again, there's this tremendous language barrier that in all his time driving Uber which is a year or something, he has never seen traffic like this. It is never, I guess when it rains in Houston, it's not, something that everybody, it's also, it's rush hour, which is probably never great, but I guess this rain made it. I mean,
he's probably literally, not only is it inconvenient, he's probably literally going to lose money on this ride. I mean,
that's the other thing he's telling me, Andrew.
Yeah, I mean,
he literally, he marshals his English skills long enough, because I'm saying he's looking at the things, he's like, oh my gosh, he's like, what time is your flight? And I go, my flight's at 5:57. I go, as long as we're there by 5:15, I think I'm going to be fine. He goes, yeah, you'll be okay for your flight. I'm not okay for gas. And I'm just like, I don't know what to tell you, buddy. You could drop me off. I could try to call somebody else. I don't want to ruin your day. I don't want to cost you money. But all I did was use the rideshare service in the manner in which it was designed. And now you and I are on this hour-and-a-half journey of him just kind of exasperatingly just yelling things, but then also singing along with the music happily. He's listening to Spanish language music. And sometimes he'll just be he's whistling along with the tune. He's singing along. I'm like, okay, we're back.
It might sound happy, but it actually is very dark lyrics, and you just can't follow the lyrics.
What does El Murder mean?
Murderinos.
So he's I'm in this bubble with him where I'm constantly trying to understand his energy. Is he getting more mad? Is he cool with it? He's also kind of road raging. Every time we get into a stretch of freeway that's not super packed, he's flooring it. He's mad at people in the left lane. He's pulling a real Andrew. People that are not driving fast enough in the left lane. What he's really mad about is people in any lane of the freeway who are leaving too much room between their car and the car in front of him, in his estimation. He really feels like everyone should be driving more closely together because we can just hit the brakes when we need to.
That doesn't save time. I'm not on board with that. And by the way, I just want to be very clear. It's not about how fast you drive in the left-hand lanes. It's whether or not you're actually passing somebody.
Okay. So in other words, you think that so don't be in the left lane at all unless you're passing someone.
The left, if you're not passing someone, get to the rightmost lane that matches your speed. And if somebody's going 55, if it's a 3-lane road and you're going 55 and the car in front of you is going 55, you don't have to be neck and neck with them or going the same speed but right behind somebody who's to the right of you. Just get in line on the right and let the people one lane over to the left go 60, and then let people in the one lane over to the left go 65. It is I've literally, if you are on a highway and you find yourself sort of on a hill and you can look down, you can see traffic being backed up for miles sometimes because there's just some Pacific Northwesterner just putzing around in the left-hand lane going the same speed as everybody to the right of them. It doesn't make sense.
Well, this guy was pretty frustrated with, but then again, he would make some sort of joke to me, that seemed lighthearted, and we would kind of, again, try to meet in the middle of our language barrier, and then we would be kind of chill, but then it would be I could just, he just had this kind of just annoyance vibrating off him about the situation, but again, it was on some level, it was my fault, I guess, because I called him and he came to get me, but on the other level, I was I just don't really know. I don't know what I'm supposed to do about this situation other than say, like, do you want to drop me off? At this point, we're now like, we're closer to the airport than we are back to his house, right? You know, so it's like, it probably makes more sense for him to just push through and then take an airport ride after this. But it was like, and then we get to the place, we get to the airport, and we jump out, and I like shake his hand. I'm like, hey, thank you so much, man, or whatever. I'm pulling my luggage out. And I kind of was hoping this will be the moment where like he laughs, or like maybe his stress level has finally dropped because like we're here, it's done. And he kind of gives me sort of a half smile, but not really like it wasn't the full sort of like, hey, this has all been, what an adventure. We'll tell our kids about this someday. It was more like,
because you're at your destination, he still has to get all the way back.
That's right, but he fucking works for them.
Well, this is the deal. This is what I don't fully understand is, so I blame the system just straight up. Like, I just think that these rideshare services are not doing enough to actually take care of the people who are working for them. And they would even say that they don't work for them. They would say that they're like contractors or whatever. I mean, that's where the real blame lies for all of this kind of mishigas. But it was my understanding, and this is where I'm very confused about this, because when we first started taking rideshare services, or they were newer, it was my understanding that as some sort of protection to the customers originally, that the drivers would not be able to pick and choose which rides they picked up. Like the app, if their app was on and there was somebody requesting a ride nearby, they would have to take it, and they wouldn't find out until they accepted the ride that, oh, this one's going to the airport, or this one's going 20 minutes away. And I thought that was supposed to be a protection for the consumer, but obviously there are huge flaws in that, and you run into issues like this guy had. So it was my understanding that has changed, and has been changed for a long time, that a driver can see, for this exact reason. It doesn't make sense if somebody's like, well, I just want to pick up a couple of rides around my neighborhood and then call it a day. You don't want to pick up a ride that is 90 minutes away. You understand how that is an absolute loser of a fare for you when you're paying for gas and time and everything to go all the way out there and not get a ride back, to not get a fare back.
Well, he is going to the airport, and when he was driving me up, his thing was already chiming for the next ride.
Next ride,
he's
to
not.
Come
I mean,
back
the airport is
to where
at
he
least,
needs to go, though.
Well, who knows? But at least he wasn't like, he could have been driving me 90 miles to a cornfield, which would have been even worse, because at least he's going to a place where there's more rides. But here's how that works in my understanding, Andrew. And again, this goes back to these rideshare companies, exerting their leverage in every possible direction on the people who do the driving. It's one of those status things. So the higher status you are with the app as a driver, the more insight you have into what the rides are.
Oh, God damn, this sucks.
So if you're at the top level, if you drive a lot, then you get to see where the rides are. Then you can turn down more rides because you can see, oh, I don't want to go there. You can also, I've had drivers tell me that, let's say that on the drive home, he only wanted to go back in the direction of his house. You can set something in the thing that will only offer you rides. And this, I don't think, is a status thing, going in a direction. So let's say that you drove someone really far away from your home base. Now you're trying to get back home. You can basically set it up so that it's only offering you potential rides that are taking you back in that direction. So you're not going to get another one that's going to take you even further out, is the theory or the possibility. But yeah, basically that becomes a privilege. No, the seeing what the ride is going to be is a privilege for higher level drivers, and higher level means driving more and picking up more fares and more
seems
whatever.
so wrong. It just seems like you should be able to look at a fare for everybody involved, for you as well, Luke. You know what I mean? This would have been better if a driver had seen, oh, this is an airport ride and I can't do that right now, especially in this kind of extreme weather and everything. You shouldn't have to earn the right to be treated like a responsible employee or whatever. That the whole thing, that whole, I mean, I agree that it sucks for you, and the thing is, you're leaving from an area that is like downtown or whatever, right? So the idea of him getting a ride from the airport back to his neighborhood, he's probably got a pretty good chance of getting a fare back.
I don't know, because I'm not in
outskirts?
downtown. I'm in this neighborhood called Bel Air, which is where the restaurant is. I'm not in a huge sort of like, I don't know, business hotel kind of dense area or something. It's more It's more a lot of restaurants and stores and some residential stuff. It just happens to be, I think, close to his residential situation. But yeah, I mean, it's a bummer all around. I mean, I empathize with the guy. I really do. But I also, it's just weird. Like the two most tense rideshare rides I've had in maybe 6 months both happened in 2 days in Houston. So I would just say enjoy your time on the train today, Andrew. It's going to be relatively stress-free.
Sounds good.
Comparatively.
We was hoping for some razzle-dazzle.
Razzle-dazzle.
That's right, man. Razzle-dazzle.
On your mark.
On your mark.
Get set.
Get set.
Now ready.
Ready.
Go. Everybody razzle dazzle.
By the way, Bram Stoker did not write the line, I've crossed oceans of time to find you.
That was
it
just
was
for
written
the movie.
for the screenplay.
Of Bram
And-
Stoker's Dracula, though? Is
of
that the
Bram
movie?
Stoker's Dracula.
Okay.
And according to somebody on Reddit, Gary Oldman, who played Dracula.
Oh, yeah.
Literally liked that line so much, that's why he wanted to be in the Francis Ford Coppola movie.
Well, I hope they give a
Bram
raise to the
Stoker's
person who... Oh, you know, speaking of going back to things, my whole plan was to play this... Letting the beat drop going into the
That's
dazzling.
the letting the beat drop?
Well, that's when that was a sound effect I found online that said it was letting the beat drop.
Wow,
I'm sorry.
can you
I'm sorry.
play that again?
Bass,
Could I hear
that
that?
was actually
Hold on.
bass drop. My apologies.
Hold on,
See, I gotta get this
Let
right.
me get
Yeah.
my glow stick.
Okay, here it
Ready?
is. This
Can
is
we-
bass drop
ready?
sound
Okay,
effect
hold on.
from
Can you
gaming
build up to it,
sound
though?
effect. It's 4 seconds long. You get what you get. What you get.
Wait. We need to build.
I don't know. I'm feeling good.
That makes one of us.
Yeah.
Hey, we got to thank some dazzling donors.
Yeah.
These people are donating a dazzling amount of dough to support the program, and that's what keeps this whole thing going 5 days a week. 100% listener-supported podcasting, thanks to Ryan Wells, who's in Seattle, Washington.
Hey, Ryan, you want to go over to Redmond with me today?
Ryan, could you give Andrew a ride to Redmond
Oh,
today,
yeah.
please?
Give me a ride. Never occurred
But
to
then
me.
you sit in the back of the car, you read your book, you do not talk.
No, I
You
sit
and
in the
Ryan
back
do
of
not
the. I
talk.
sit in the back of the truck. I'm in the bed. I'm in the bed of the
Oh,
truck
man.
with the chickens.
I miss those days. As a kid, as a teen, we used to ride around in the back of a lot of pickup trucks.
I did that at times. I remember riding
it
in the
was-
back of a pickup truck, throwing, like out in the country and throwing yellow pages. It was like a Boy Scout thing or something. We would deliver
Oh.
we would deliver phone books, and we would just throw them
Whoa.
off the back of
The
a
new
truck.
phone books are here. The new
Yeah,
phone books are here.
exactly, Yeah.
Ryan says, Dear Andrew and Luke, thank you for being constant companions in my earbuds since 2011. Wow. I truly appreciate everything you do for the TENS community. For my donor message, I would like to shout out my small business located in the Ballard neighborhood of Seattle. Our industry has been discussed often on TBTL over the years, including the infamous Delica van trip. We specialize in custom van builds, converting cargo and crew vans into tiny homes on wheels equipped with all the comforts of home, including air conditioning, heating, refrigeration, high-speed internet, showers, and more. Gosh, Andrew, if I just had a Sprinter van, I could have driven myself from the restaurant to the airport. I could have stayed there overnight in Houston. I could have driven to the airport. I don't know what I do when I get to the airport, but still sounds like
Can
better
you
than what I was going
Can
to.
you put the van on the front of the plane like they put bikes on the front of buses?
Yes, that's a great question. I think we could probably.
Is a
I could
great
ask Alaska
question.
Airlines about that. We frequently build out Mercedes Sprinters and Ford Transits. While we don't necessarily recommend Mitsubishi Delicas, please see TBTL for a review on those. Well, here's what I would say. Delicas are great. Don't drive them through the Sonoran Desert
Yeah.
on an extra hot day, as we did. Our builds provide the ideal environment for comfortably listening to your favorite podcast on the go. If you or anyone you know is interested in van life, please check out Ride-A-Well Van Company. That's pronounced Ride-A-Well. See, Ryan Wells, Andrew. You see what we're
I
doing
like
here?
it.
Ryan Wells, Ride-A-Well Van
That's
Company.
right, yeah.
At rideawell.com. That's RYDAWELL.com. Rideawell.com. And follow along on our work on Instagram at Ridawell. Thanks and love ya, Ryan in Seattle. I'm on the Instagram page. This stuff is so freaking cool, man.
Yeah,
What did a comedian write this?
What did a comedian write?
So
Come up
freaking
with this?
cool. I love this so much. Ryan, I don't know if you're already doing this, but if not, could you please start a TikTok page where you take us through these builds? And I promise you, I'll be your number one. I will smash that like and subscribe button. That's the kind of stuff that I really, really like watching on TikTok is sort of step by step, like progression. I'm watching this woman right now I think she's in the Northeast. She bought an old runabout, which is kind of the name for like a motorboat, but kind of like a cool old, wood one, the style that I like, or fiberglass one, kind of like from the 1950s and 60s. And she's turning it into a coffee cart. So she's building it out so that it's going to be like, you kind of come up to this very cool runabout boat, but it's actually got a fully functioning fridge and coffee thing. And it's fascinating. And I just love, first of all, could you go a little faster, please? Because I'm dying to see the next reveal. But like, I love watching these, what would you call it? Progress content, like where someone starts with, let's just say, a Mercedes van that's not built out at all, and then adds in all of these elements that Ryan is talking about. I really, really love that kind of stuff. So. Ryan, thank you for the support. Everybody go check out ridawell.com or follow Ryan on Instagram. And, support Ryan for supporting us.
Thanks, Ryan.
Maestro.
On your mark.
On your mark.
Get set.
Get set.
Now ready.
Ready. Go.
Everybody rattle, daddle.
Oh, my goodness gracious. It's our pal Schaefer Hall in Austin, Texas.
Oh, of the front page fame.
That's right. Schaefer says 7 years of dazzling donations means 7 years at the front page. Thanks to all the 10s who have come by over the years. And we look forward to seeing more of you in the future. So the front page, for the few people who don't know, is Schaefer's amazing, would you call it a bar and restaurant, a pub and restaurant?
I think it's
a newspaper that features a bar and restaurant.
I always think of it as a pub, but I want to be very specific.
Think about pub.
East Austin Pub. The front page
Okay,
is
he's
East
calling
Austin
it a pub.
Yes,
Okay.
good.
Because here's the thing. I've been to the website of the front page, and it looks... I don't want to tell Schaefer how to run his business, because it's apparently been going great. When I hear pub, I don't... sometimes pub to me... I don't think pub fully describes all of the coolness happening at the front page. Having recently been to the website, Andrew. That's all I'm trying to say.
You feel like a pub... could that be your opinion on the word pub?
Yes, it is. Because when I was a young a young man in his 20s, just getting into my my going out life, sometimes in Seattle, pub meant does not have hard alcohol.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And so I was always like, miss me with that. That is not the case with the front page. They've got a full bar. I'm looking at it right now. And also sometimes pub, it was kind of like, you hear about like pub fare, like pub food could be a little underwhelming. It could be a thing of pretzels. It could be a whatever. I'm looking at the menu at the front page, and it is, first of all, I'm very hungry. They did not, I was in coach last night, and I didn't eat anything on the airplane. So I'm really hungry. And I'm looking at their Southern Italian sandwich. I'm looking at their Greek salad. I'm looking at this food, and I'm like, this looks like incredible, handmade, delicious, fresh food happening at the front page. So just want to say they've got the hard alcohol. They've got a huge selection of beers and ciders and other things, and they've got incredible looking food there at the front page.
Do you think of a tavern, though, as maybe being a place where...
Maybe I'm conflating tavern and pub, because tavern was definitely a miss me. When
I don't know. I don't know. Like, I when I think of a tavern, I think of old timies, right? Like, I was gonna say like a tavern, because I was just trying to figure that out. Because I think you're right, or at least feels emotionally right to me, which is like the most we have going for us these days anyway. That a pub would be, first of all, a pub has a cozy feel to it, and this definitely there's definitely some coziness here, although it looks like a very well-lit place too, which is something I appreciate. But I see what you mean, that a pub kind of focuses on like maybe the beer and wine aspect of things as opposed to a bar, whereas a tavern
of beer coming out.
I feel like a tavern is like you're traversing Is that where tavern comes? No, it's different letters. But I feel like you're traversing. You're on a trek somewhere, and you stop in at the tavern, and you eat soup that you dunk big chunks of bread into, and then
this is
maybe
almost
you
like
stay
you're a
the
hobbit.
night. You're probably a hobbit
on your
in
way
this
somewhere, and you're
situation.
having flagons of ale.
You're
and
probably
mutton.
a hobbit, and you're probably having flagons
yeah.
of ale.
You might
You're
be
absolutely right.
a hobbit. TFW, you're having a flagon of ale.
If you're having a flagon of ale, you might be a hobbit. Oh,
I
good.
think for me, tavern layer Seattle Aurora. God, please tell me somebody snapped a picture in Vanishing Seattle back in the day. I don't think they did. I don't know if they did. When I was a kid, growing up on Aurora Avenue, there was a tavern. This is where my whole conception of tavern comes from, I think anyway. It was called the Lion's Lair. And where it was, you know where that PCC is on Aurora, Andrew? Across the street from where you got your computer one time?
Yeah. Isn't it a little bit further down? But yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, in that, let's say, general area.
Sure,
so
yeah.
kind of like where the Purple Store is. Or actually, the Purple Store is now a mega church. But anyway, we'll call it between 76th and Aurora and Winona. There's this, there's a PCC now that used to be called... it used to be a market that my mom was a checker at. It was like a little. It was called I forget the name of the grocery store. But anyway, next to that, when I was growing up, was a place called the Lion's Lair Tavern, and it terrified me because it had you could not see in the glass. People were always smoking cigarettes standing around there. Now it's like I think it's like a Scottish bar or something. It's called like. The last time I remember clocking it, it was kind of like St. Andrews or something. It was some kind of I think it was like a bar where people go to watch soccer or whatever. But anyway,
And
when
it's still there. It's still there as a bar. You think? Oh, okay. I can't picture that.
Well, let's see. St. Andrews Bar, Seattle, Aurora.
I wonder if it's worth
Let's see if I
me.
can
Is
find
it a bar worth?
Oh,
checking
it
out?
closed. It
I was
closed.
going to say because I feel like there was a time where I was like taking the E line down. Remember there was that like kind of quasi motorcycle bar. Speaking of places that didn't serve alcohol, they served alcohol, but only like beer.
Yeah. That was on 77th. That was literally on my street.
Yeah, and Aurora. That's now like a cafe. I think the person who was running it ended up selling that. I think it might still serve a similar sort of motorcycle-oriented community. But anyway, I remember always looking for like kind of bars that it would be easily to go to on the E line that would be down that way. And I don't remember seeing one. Can you tell if that St. Andrews is something else now?
No,
now you suddenly got my attention.
Now good, and we have to win you back.
Exactly.
Andrew, just do this. Put in 7406 Aurora Avenue North. Put that into your internet, and then street view that. And you'll see, this place is now closed apparently, but I think that the last of the street view photos was this St. Andrews place. It's this kind of blue building with red doors.
Yes, absolutely. I do recognize this place, but it is so soccer coded that it does. I think that I would see it and then immediately not see it. Yes. Exactly.
So it was, when I was a kid, I don't even think it was both of these doors. I think it was just not even... I think it was just the one to the right. So not where the sign is, not where the St. Andrews sign is, but there was another, like, it looks like they took over maybe two different business spaces.
Sure.
There's two red doors, right?
Yep, and
the red door on the right,
Mm-hmm.
that was not painted blue. It was, I seem to remember it being the wood was a depressing, sad brown, and then the brick was just red brick, and that was called the Lion's Lair Tavern.
Okay.
And it had like, a couple of neon signs in the window and some... let's just say probably some folks that were probably mid-divorce, spending a lot of time in there just chain smoking. I never went inside, but my idea was that my sense of it was there's probably a cloud of cigarette smoke that hung down to, I don't know, about 6 feet off of the floor just from constant chain smoking, beer drinking, and sad storytelling. So that was and that was a tavern. That was where I learned the word tavern. And so,
and it's on Aurora, and that is where travelers go, right? Aurora
Yeah.
was built sort of in that era of I mean,
Old Highway
obviously it's very
99.
different, but it's like Route 66, sort of the idea of just like we live in an America where Americans are in their cars all the time and like traversing this great country of ours. So I like that the fact that it was called a tavern there, because it it fits into my whole you might be a hobbit if theory of taverns.
but because it scared me initially, I've always been a little worried about the word tavern, which is great because Schaefer's place is called the Front Page, and it's technically a pub, but it looks amazing. Schaefer says, thanks to the 10s who have come by, we look forward to seeing more of you in the future. And I've had the opportunity lately to work on my other job, poetry. So I wrote a sonnet for Luke and Andrew, and I posted it on my ancient poetry blog. Now, is the blog about ancient poetry, or is it just an ancient blog?
I think it's an ancient blog.
Okay. For all the 10s to see, and for you guys to read if you would like. Shouldn't put me over my word count. You can find this at Schaefer Hall, schaeferhall.blogspot.com. My full-length book, Never Cry Woof, can be purchased at the usual places, and there will be a new collection of poems forthcoming now that TFP isn't taking all of my time. I think that's short for the Front Page. And please note that sonnets come in many forms. Don't at me for my meter or rhyme scheme. Hey, guys, don't come at Schaefer, please, for his meter or rhyme scheme. I had no
Can't
idea.
make that promise. Can't make that promise. I'm coming after you.
I had no idea Schaefer was also a poet in addition to running this successful business in Austin and all the other things. Now, Andrew, do you want to? I was the one who got to sing a Justin Timberlake parody song about bringing old segments back. Would you like to read the sonnet for Luke and Andrew?
Sure. Let me click on this here.
Okay.
I was getting some Blur's Days ready here. Somebody wrote in a very, very long poem to their beloved, and I was trying to get that, beat that into shape a little bit here. But how's that for poetic? All right, here it is. I got it right here. This was posted on May 9th, 2026, so not long ago, less than a month ago, and it's called
Hot off the presses.
Sonnet for Luke and Andrew. That's very appropriate for a Front Page reference.
Do we have any sonnet music? Let me see.
Well, I was sort of thinking, I mean, I do have this.
Hold on.
Is that the mood you were looking for?
Yeah, I just threw my pen.
Okay, that's great.
God, that bass really dropped.
Let's see. What do we have? I mean, I just keep going to this Dixieland strut, which we don't like.
No. That's not sonnet music.
No, it's not. It needs to be looty. What do you have for a lute?
Exactly.
Do you have any lute music?
I'm looking here.
Luke, give me the lute. Give me the lute.
I got Damn It Feels Good to Be a Gangster. I've got Butterfly instrumental. This is what happens when I put an instrumental. I've got some music from Air. I've Mind is Playing Tricks on Me instrumental. Europe instrumental. That's probably the final countdown. I got Baby Got Back instrumental.
No, this was said it was peaceful lute music, but this seems too
I got
modern.
My Heart Will Go On instrumental. Oh, this is good.
Okay, here
Perfect.
we go. All right, here we go. Here we go. This is a give me the loot. Give me the loot. I thought that was a pretty good joke, and so I'm going back to it as I continue to look for the ancient
What's that a
book.
reference to?
Oh, that Biggie song? Give me the loot. Give me the loot.
I don't think I know that one.
It's off
He
of,
rapped about money, huh?
Am I wrong? That's off of. He only had one record, right? Wasn't that his?
I believe you. I'm not a Biggie. I'm not a Biggieologist.
Okay, here we go. This is a poem to Luke and Andrew. Yeah, MFers better know. I'm a bad. Lock your windows, close your doors. Biggie Smalls. There's a chance I'm on the wrong tab here. Those were the lyrics to Give Me the Loot. This is sonnet for Luke and Andrew. What I said, what's up to my dogs who were barking into microphones far away, and in my loneliness, I heard an answer from across the globe, and I was comforted, warm as a jalapeno, hotter than a Cheeto, happy as 3 boys and a gang of cats and dogs. Another year goes by, another 260 hours of 2 fellas talking. Oh, Mom and Dad, it's so beautiful. And as ever, I am sorry for all the abusive language. We're on it today, my boy. We're
Honestly,
on it today.
sonically, that wasn't our worst.
It really wasn't.
Between, I loved you found some great Sonic music. Also, Schaefer,
That's
full
really good.
marks.
Yeah.
Like, really and truly, this is, it sounds like I'm joking, and I am not. This is what poetry can do. Listen, we all heard me crying recently reading a poem about trees. But, like, you know, that actually is a way of describe. I mean, the chaos that is TBTL in terms of like how little we stay on topic and how we're all over the place. How do you, like, people have problems explaining what the show is to people? How do you sum up? How do you catch a cloud and pin it down? Right? How do you find a word that means Maria? And in that sonnet, Schaefer has actually captured these sort of these images and these ideas of the show that really do, he encapsulated the show somehow with those words.
Can I, and I don't know if you know this or not, Luke, but I feel compelled to let listeners know about the very last reference in this too, because I don't know if you would remember this or not. And I'd kind of assume you wouldn't, but do you know the "I am sorry for all the abusive language"? Do you know that that is a reference to?
No, I don't think I do.
So for the longest time, I had an outgoing message set up for my email. So if a listener emailed me, they would get an automatic response, right? Usually set it up as like an out of office response, but it doesn't matter. I would just be like, hey, I got your note, but I can't respond to every email. Thanks for writing in. But I, being the clever person that I am, wrote something along the lines of, hey, thanks for writing in. I read all the emails, try to get back to everybody, but I can't respond to everybody. And also, and I think I said something like, I was referring to the writer including abusive language in their email to me. I wrote something like, I don't know why you needed to use such abusive language or something, but it was clearly a joke. But then some listeners, I believe maybe one listener, was like, wrote in a little bit starchy about something and then wrote back, what do you mean the abusive language that I used or whatever? And it sort of became a thing. So I was like, I wanted to fight it. And we talked about it on the show. Luke, this is more than 10 years ago. And so I think I just like gave in and I struck that line from my auto reply.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe maybe mine just did say, and sorry for all the abusive language. I can't remember if I was apologizing for it or accusing the writer of using abusive language, but apparently it confused one of our more confusable listeners, and then it didn't feel worth fighting for anymore. And there was one person I remember who was really sad to see that language leave my auto response, and I believe that person was Schaefer. And I think whenever Schaefer writes in, he will sign off, also sorry for all the abusive language, when he writes into the show now. So I appreciated that little Easter egg.
Absolutely. Thank you for the explanation, because yes, that was ever so slightly lost on me. Schaefer, thank you for all that you've done for the show. Everybody go check out schaeferhall.blogspot.com and also check out the book, Never Cry Woof. Schaefer wraps it up by saying, love y'all and thanks for all the important things that you do. Well, thank you, Schaefer. We couldn't be here without you.
Hello and welcome to Top Story.
I don't have a crazy amount to say about this top story that I haven't already kind of mentioned in the 2 times I've promoted it, but it did kind of jump out at me because of a couple of things. One, I thought of our friend and colleague John Sklaroff, who is a big New York Knicks fan, because basically the picture in the New York Times of this guy, the headline is, "Who is the baklava guy at the Knicks games?" And it comes with this photo of like Knicks fans in absolute delirium, presumably outside of Madison Square Garden, gathered around a guy holding a half-consumed tray of baklava, who is just looks this. Are you looking at the photo by any chance, Andrew?
I'm not right now. I was looking at it. I read this the other day.
So you saw the photo. This photo is, honestly, if you bottled this, it would take the tiniest. This is adrenochrome of happiness. This is the distilled essence of joy in the world, which, by the way, I do believe that John is feeling today, because his New York Knicks managed to come back from being 14 down to win Game 1 of the NBA Finals on the road in San Antonio.
I was going to ask, so we're one game in, huh? I know there's a lot of energy around the NBA playoffs and now the finals, but I've never really taken the time to follow it. So it is Knicks versus who?
San Antonio Spurs.
San Antonio.
It's an interesting plot because the Spurs have Victor Wembanyama, and the Knicks haven't been to the finals in like almost 30 years or 20 years or something. And so, it's a big story in New York, and it's a big story for the rest of the country too, because of this guy Victor Wembanyama, almost in one season reimagining what even basketball can look like. I mean, he's just phenomenal. He's 7'4", I think, and he can dribble and shoot. It's unfair. He is a human cheat code.
And a fun personality, right? Am I right?
Oh my gosh,
totally.
But, I mean, is apparently loves to read, is always seen carrying a physical book with him, and books that are pretty interesting in terms of what they're exploring about the world. He does not shy away from, I think, talking about the way that this country has treated certain people and stuff. He went to some kind of a retreat over the summer where I think it was I think it may have been, I don't know if it was a martial arts retreat or some sort of a meditation retreat, but by the way, the guy's 20 or something too. It's he's also incredibly young, but seems to be a very cerebral individual, phenomenal, athlete, just basically all around amazing dude. So that's cool for the sport. And then you got the New York Knicks, biggest media market in America. Anyway, I saw this photo of these guys just wilding out around this baklava, and it drew me in. It's also written by Pete Wells. Pete Wells is a writer for the Times that I've loved for years. He was the restaurant writer, and then he recently retired from being the restaurant writer because he said it was so bad for his health to be the restaurant writer at the New York Times, and that essay alone made the rounds. Well, here he is writing about baklava, Peter. I don't know about that, although he's not eating the baklava.
As far
he's
as we
writing.
know.
He's writing about this. I mean, listen, he's allowed to have a little baklava.
Sure.
He's writing about a guy named Jacob Komaro. Here's how he starts the piece. A couple was sitting on a blanket in McCarran Park in Brooklyn with a small placid infant last Thursday when a wandering salesman approached them carrying a tray of Turkish pastries. Hi, he said. I'm going to try to sell baklava to you and your baby. Hell yeah, the baby's mother said, as if she'd been waiting for it all afternoon. Moments later, she had 2 triangles of stacked phyllo sheets divided by a thick seam of spring green pistachios. In exchange, $5 had been lobbed towards a Venmo account registered to Good Baklava. By the time the money landed, the salesman had another picnic blanket in his sights. Good Baklava is a nomadic, seat-of-the-pants business started by a 30-year-old man known in legal records as Jacob Komaro. He goes by Roy Donk, though, these days. Or many customers just call him the baklava guy. So the Roy Donkness of the story jumped out at me because, of course, that means he likes I Think You Should Leave as much as we do, if that's kind of his online persona of Roy Donk.
Yeah.
And it basically follows the story of this dude, Jacob Komaro, who has apparently, even though he's not that old by our standards, Andrew, he's already lived a number of lives. He was raised Orthodox Jew in New York, but then decided to kind of turn his back on that lifestyle to follow the band Fish, and was traveling around with them, but then ran out of money, and so then decided that he was going to try to, I guess it's a thing with those kind of a band like Fish when you follow them, that a lot of people support themselves while following these bands by just selling stuff in the parking lots, surrounding where the concerts are. And he said basically he was trying to figure out what to sell. I guess he actually grew up in Passaic, New Jersey, by the way, not New York. I apologize. He went to rehab at some point a couple of times because I guess he struggled with addiction. And so he's following Fish at some point, and he is totally out of money. And so he goes into a store of some kind, and he sees baklava, and he just thinks, well, no one's selling this in the parking lot, and also it looks like it has drugs in it. Mm-hmm. It looks like a thing you would put edibles in.
He was excited about the green. He was excited literally
precisely.
about the green. Yes.
And so he just he started selling baklava because he saw an opportunity to differentiate himself from the other people that were selling stuff outside of the fish shows, and apparently it kind of took off. He said when he's selling his baklava to regular people, like that couple in McCarran Park or others, or certainly when he's out on the streets of New York, he's always telling people that his baklava contains no drugs. In fact, that's kind of part of his good baklava branding, is these T-shirts that say "Good baklava, no drugs." It's, by the way, in the New York Knicks color scheme, those T-shirts I'll just mention. But he says when he's selling them, he says when I'm selling them at fish concerts, they don't ask. Or wait, let me get this right. He also tells them that his product contains no drugs, a motto emblazoned on some good baklava hats, T-shirts, and hoodies. In Brooklyn, this is the icebreaker and a laugh line. They don't ask, he says. When I'm selling at a fish concert, they do ask. So I guess his point is that when you're selling at a fish concert, people actually do ask if there's drugs in the baklava.
Yeah.
When he's selling on the streets of New York, it's not the number one question that people
You don't have a lot of people like tripping and then going into Knicks games?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't rule it out. I would not rule it out.
Sounds like it's been a long 30 years from what I'm learning.
Have you seen some of these? This is really a conversation we should have John in on for, but like the prohibitive cost of getting tickets to the NBA Finals in Madison Square Garden. Like, forget being on the court. That's not even a thing. Money cannot even solve that for you, like getting courtside seats. But as far as like even being in the nosebleeds, it's, $3,000 a ticket, $4,000 a ticket. It's spurred all these online conversations about, like, particularly for Knicks fans, like, what would you pay to be in the building for the, for a Knicks final game when they haven't been in so many years?
Yeah.
And, like, what's that worth to people? There was also a whole piece, I think, in The Athletic about who gets to be actually courtside for these games. And it's not just enough that you're famous. You have to also be a Knicks fan. You cannot be a fan of, let's say, the San Antonio Spurs. They are legally allowed to stop you. Let's say you bought the tickets off of somebody for $100,000 per ticket. The Knicks still legally retain the right to ban you from sitting courtside if you're going to be in Spurs gear.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that?
I'm fine with it. I don't think this is an important enough free speech issue. Like, I understand that they want to cultivate a certain environment. And by the way, Fat Joe, the rapper Fat Joe, said he was not allowed to sit courtside at a Cleveland game. Cleveland, this is for you, for the same reason that the Cavaliers, well, there's a difference of opinion on this, by the way. Fat Joe says, I was banned from the courtside seats at a Cavaliers game because I'm a known Knicks fan. The Cavaliers say that he got the tickets through improper means.
Oh.
But improper means could just be he got them from someone who wasn't allowed to give them to him directly. Like, if you want to give someone your courtside seats for the Knicks games, you can't just give them to that person. You have to give them back to the Knicks, who then give them to the person if they deem the person worthy to be courtside.
Yeah, this is where I'm Googling around because I'm going to ask you a question that, like, you're going to be able to untangle it, but I'm just going to sound like such a fool saying it.
Love it.
Feast on this. The Garden, is that the one that's owned by the kind of problematic guy?
James Dolan.
Yeah, and he's running this place. This is not the only issue, right? Because I'll be honest with you, when you mentioned that, I'm like, would I approve of somebody saying, hey, you can't come in to watch Mariners games if you're dressed in a bunch of Blue Jays gear? I'd be like, yeah, I could get down with that. Well, there are certainly times I could get down with that, but I know it's a very, very different scenario, and that would be kind of anti-baseball.
Well, it'd be like, can you
anti-fun.
sit? It's the World Series, and can you sit in those back,
right?
That row of seats right behind home plate, like the first row.
Right, exactly.
Can you do that?
And I understand why you'd say. I mean, you know me. I was teed off, Luke, that they had the national broadcast took over the playoffs, and they had ads featuring Ohtani on billboards behind home plate when, the Dodgers weren't even in that game and they weren't in Dodger Stadium. Like, I felt like that was an affront. I felt like that was such an affront to fandom. And, of course, as always, in pursuit of more money for the billionaires who own these teams. It just, I don't know, pisses me off. There is something, though, about like, hey, you're in Seattle. Seattle has made it to the big show. And, you don't
can't call it the Super Bowl. You cannot legally call the NBA Finals the Super Bowl.
That would be a really good tweet. You legally can. I don't know why it's not a good joke on the show, but it would only be a good tweet. Anyway, what a weird thing for me to say.
On the everything platform.
Yeah, the everything app. Anyway, I mean, part of me kind of understands it, but I guess I was kind of brought up the whole Dolan thing. Thank you for the assist there, which is a basketball term, by the way, because there are a lot more problems with this whole scenario. He's
facial recognition.
He's
software.
banning people for all kinds of reasons. There's facial recognition for like everybody who
Can
comes
I
and
remind you
goes.
of one of the reasons?
Please do, because I don't know if I know.
It's so crazy. There are, at Madison Square Garden is a huge. So James Dolan, the very, very quick note on him is his father made a bunch of money on what is, I think, basically Cabletown, as laid out on 30 Rock. I think he came from a family that had this big kind of like local cable TV empire or something. And he got all this money, and then he bought the Knicks with the money and Madison Square Garden. He also owns the Sphere in Vegas. But, he's also got a terrible band called James Dolan and the Straight Shooters. Which, he's one of those guys. He's like always trying to get you to listen to his hot rock and blues. But he, Madison Square Garden is a big organization, as are the New York Knicks. And so they're constantly involved in some sort of legal wrangling. Like, you've got people that maybe fell down at Madison Square Garden and are suing MSG and the Knicks. You have, again, there's always going to be legal stuff going on. One of the things that Madison Square Garden has apparently done is they've sent their bots to go through and search all of the websites of any law firm that is engaged with a legal action against Madison Square Garden or James Dolan and the Straight Shooters or probably the Knicks or any of his sort of associated entities. And if you work at one of these law firms, you're banned from Madison Square Garden because law firms tend to have a website where it's like, here are our associates, here are our lawyers, and there's photos of them. So you don't even have to be a lawyer who is personally on a case that is bedeviling James Dolan. And I don't know if they're still doing this, but there was a period in time where you could just work at a flipping law firm.
Louise.
You could be walking into Madison Square Garden with the tickets you bought, and you would be stopped by security and escorted out because your face was now on one of these do not fly lists. So anyway, that's
so
the kind of shit that's
when you
going
talk
on.
about this kind of like, not manipulation is the wrong word, but this sort of kind of behavior and the way you're locking down your facility, which is, still also in the public interest, and probably, I don't know exactly how the taxes are structured there, but also is there, and you can own this because of the community, input and whatever else. Like that's bullshit behavior by, again, a guy who's richer than anybody should possibly be and sounds like a vindictive guy. And so it's like, ugh, that's kind of gross. But I do also understand, keeping, these courtside seats for the fans makes a lot of sense to me. So I guess I'm not giving you a good answer, but I'm sort of okay with that aspect of it.
You know who actually comes out, I think, looking fairly cool in all of this, although he did once almost personally lead, I think, again, this is really for our friend John Sklarov to litigate, but even though he once may have almost personally led to the Knicks getting knocked out of a playoff series against the Indiana Pacers, but who comes off really cool in the story about the courtside seats is one Spike Lee, one Mars Blackman, because all of the celebrities who are sitting courtside, the Timothy Chalamets, the Ben Stiller, the Jenners, the whomevers, they are usually getting free tickets from the New York Knicks because they are super fans, because they are famous, because it is cool optics for the Knicks. Spike Lee has been buying his own courtside seats since he met, I don't have the article right in front of me. It's a different article than the Baklava story. But basically, he said that at some point, it was when they drafted Patrick Ewing out of Georgetown. So this has been in the 80s, man. This has been like 84 or something. I remember being a little kid and watching Georgetown play, I think, Virginia in the national championship game, a Patrick Ewing-led Georgetown basketball team, John Thompson as head coach. Spike Lee said that on the day that the Knicks drafted Patrick Ewing, he went and slept in line at the front office of the Knicks so he could buy his season tickets, his courtside season tickets. And he's had them ever since. And the reason this makes him seem cool is the Knicks can't tell him shit. Now, I guess possibly if we've already established that they do have some kind of a say over who sits courtside, I guess maybe they could pull his tickets. But basically, the thrust of this article that I'm referring to here was the Knicks will give you courtside seats if you are very famous and a Knicks super fan. But the assumption is you're not going to be out there blowhard and you're not going to be criticizing the Knicks based on personnel decisions, based on James Dolan's fedora hat, whatever it is.
Do you mean
Spike Lee?
Do you mean like in-game frustration, like as a fan, or you just mean also then in podcasts and radio interviews, just being a public figure who's talking shit?
I think more that one, door number 2.
Oh, interesting.
Like if you're Timothy Chalamet and it's the off season, let's say the Knicks don't win this finals, and you have big problems with how the Knicks coaching was handled or the Knicks ownership or whatever, and you're doing interviews and you're shit talking the Knicks, you might not get those tickets next year.
Sure,
you have a certain there's a certain chilling effect on your speech because of the fact that you're getting these tickets for free. Now, Spike Lee is his own person, and he can say whatever he thinks about the Knicks, good and bad, because he is paying for the tickets himself, which is pretty badass. Now, the reason I said he may have actually lost them a series was because Spike Lee was it the 90s, the late 90s or the early 2000s, maybe late 90s, he had a feud going with Reggie Miller, the player for the Indianapolis Pacers, who is a phenomenal outside shooter, incredible generational outside shooter. And Spike Lee, there was a famous game in the Garden where Reggie Miller scores I forget, it's 11 points in the last 8 seconds of the game after being taunted by Spike Lee. And so you have a game where Spike Lee is riding Reggie Miller's ass all game from the courtside and is telling him he's a choke artist, and it's just doing all the things you do as a crazy super fan. And it certainly appears to have lit a fire under Reggie Miller that caused him to win the game for the Pacers.
In the words of our beloved Josh Naylor, they fed me. They fed me, bro. Yes.
I want to see how much of this I'm getting right because I'm not a big, let's see. Reggie Miller versus Spike Lee is one of the most famous player-fan rivalries in NBA history, defined by legendary trash talk, clutch performances, and iconic gestures at Madison Square Garden during the 1990s. The rivalry peaked during Game 5 of the 94 Eastern Conference Finals. With the Indiana Pacers trailing the New York Knicks, Reggie Miller erupted for 25 points in the fourth quarter. During his scoring barrage, Miller made eye contact with Knicks superfan Spike Lee courtside, flashing the iconic choke sign across his throat. The Pacers won the game, and Miller became public enemy number 1 in New York. The 8-point miracle. A year later, in Game 1 of the 95 Eastern Conference semifinals, Miller delivered an even more devastating blow. In the closing seconds, with the Pacers trailing by 6, Miller scored 8 points in just 8.9 seconds. The legendary sequence featured a quick three-pointer, blah, 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 and 2 free throws, stunning the Madison Square Garden crowd and directly taunting Spike Lee in the process.
Okay, I'm going to take this to the most tedious place possible, but I have a question for you, and I'm being serious about this. Did the writer say making the choke sign across the throat? And I'm wondering if there are two different signs that are being conflated here. Is a finger line across the throat?
He didn't do that.
Okay, it was actually putting two hands.
Doing it like this.
Okay, good. Okay, 2 hands under the chin. Yeah. Okay.
And this is why we don't praise the machine, Andrew, because what I just read you is the flipping AI overview, and it doesn't understand flashing the iconic choke sign across his throat. AI doesn't know the difference that you're pointing out very importantly and astutely, which was he was not, he was not doing a slash, a kind of a murderous.
That's across the throat,
indication.
Yeah, which is a famous line that Genevieve mentions all the time. I think from I want to say Guardians of the Galaxy. There's some character who's learning idioms or something. I don't know what they've done, and he kind of says, "Line across throat means death" or something because somebody had taught him that. Yeah, there's a difference between going across the throat versus the choke symbol. Which, by the way, picturing Spike Lee doing that choke symbol. Even though it bites him in the ass, is so funny to me.
I feel like I definitely, if I remember the story right, again, this is the wrong two people that are kind of reminiscing on this. I don't know if Spike Lee was just yelling choke and then Reggie did it as a response, or if Spike Lee was doing choke and then Reggie did choke back to him. I definitely know that there's lots of pictures of Reggie doing it.
That's so good. Okay.
There's lots of pictures of Reggie doing it.
He does it back at him like, oh,
it's
joke.
somehow a callback. Hey, by the way, speaking of basketball players and public transportation, two of your favorite topics.
Sure, yeah.
My guy, Detlef Schrempf, he of the always trying to get upgraded on Alaska Airlines, much like myself. The other day I was following him on Instagram, and he was at the Mariners game, which was like, go Detlef. And then I was scrolling through his pictures, and he had taken light rail to get there, and he was like, light rail, a great way to get to the Mariners.
Love that.
Like, could we love the dude anymore?
No, we could not. By the way, I was looking for the video. This is like a little documentary, it looks like, where they talk to Reggie Miller and Spike Lee. Can I actually play this for you?
Who are very chill and friendly now at this point.
Yeah,
by the way,
I think this is
also love to see.
I think this is like a kind of a retrospect. It's only 60 seconds long. It's from Facebook. Let's just see if this is any good, if you don't mind. Now, the problem with Facebook is it does this weird thing where it mutes it when you hit play. Let's try this again.
Miller open again. Boom! Reggie Miller, who again is staring in the direction of, yes, that man.
I told you guys are going to choke. They're going down. They don't have enough.
This is Reggie.
Other things, and
I'm pretty sure it's Stephen A. Smith.
Right in front of me, my wife's sitting right here.
Spike.
This is
He
Spike.
puts one hand around his neck.
Yeah.
And with the other hand, he grabs his crotch.
I didn't know that.
His wife did not want to be there. She just sit there just like this.
Oh, this is really funny. So I'm sorry it's so visual, but they're obviously showing footage, archive footage of the game, and I didn't know that was Spike's wife sitting next to him, and she has her hands covering her mouth while she's kind of like her eyes are going back and forth from the court to Spike. That's pretty good, actually.
Well,
now that I'm looking at her, that kind of really makes the story good.
Also, like, Spike Lee must have yelled choke at some point at Reggie Miller for him to do that, because otherwise that's actually insane behavior from Reggie Miller. Because what Reggie Miller, let's imagine that Spike Lee has never said choke or has never done the choke symbol. What that would mean is Reggie Miller is saying that Spike Lee is choking as a fan, which
that
isn't
doesn't
even a
make sense.
thing.
No,
so he's got to be responding to it, but it's just funny because it's like, I guess what Reggie Miller is saying is, you called me a choker, but I'm not choking. I'm actually scoring a bunch of points on you.
Right, yeah.
It's just, but what I remember about it too was Knicks fans being like, hey, Spike, you have to stop activating Reggie Miller in these situations.
You're the opposite of kryptonite.
No, exactly. You are making him better at basketball, and you need to freaking stop right now.
Oh my God! But he wouldn't, right?
I don't know how it played out over the years, other than they're like the hatchet is more than buried, which is how it should be. Like, this is how sports should be. Like, people can get kind of mad at each other. People can like have rivalries. People can also then, like, realize that that it's it's not the end of the world. Like, there's something about the fact that those two have done interviews together and posed together and like each other that it makes me feel like there's still a chance for this planet.
Can I add two things to the story about the baklava guy and his baklavan, which he uses?
Oh, that is a pretty good name.
I think to maybe like drive around and like get from point A to point B where he served these. My reason of putting it that way is I don't think he serves these out of the van. But there were two observations I had. First of all, as you read directly from the piece, it's got a great opening scene. And he goes by the name Roy Donk, as you mentioned, which of course is a character name from I Think You Should Leave. It's not his real name. We have his real name because you can find it in public records, but the article points out that he knows people can find it, but he refuses to use his real name. And he just says something like, I don't know, Roy Donk is just working for me right now. This guy is clearly a character. But you read that opening scene, and he walks up to a couple on a blanket in the park and says, hi, I'm going to try to sell some baklava to you and your baby. There is something about the way that sentence is constructed that sounds like a line out of I Think You Should Leave. Like it's needlessly complicated, right? You would just say, hi, would you, if it were me, and it wouldn't be me, but if it were me, I would say, would you like some baklava? I'm selling it for $5. I wouldn't say, hi, I'm going to try to sell baklava to you and your baby.
Oh, I think it's a genius line.
It's great, right? And then her to say, oh, hell yeah.
Because I feel like it's naming the awkwardness of sales is I'm trying to sell you something, but I'm not being clear that I'm trying to sell you something. And also involving the baby, like that makes me for me. And I hear what you're saying, which is that it's an odd way to put it, and it does sound like a line that they would write in.
Oh
the
yeah, I'm
show.
not saying it's stupid. I'm just saying it's interesting, but it also is sort of needlessly complicated in a way. One of Tim's characters would say it, right?
It immediately made me realize, oh, this guy is going to be successful in whatever he does.
Yeah, he's clearly a good
like,
marketer. I mean, he's in the New York
so
Times.
smart. That's like the smartest. Like, I'm going to try to sell this to you and your baby is like, to the right kind of person anyway, like so much more disarming than just like the normal thing, like you said, which would be like, hey, I'm selling baklava. Would you like to buy some? Or hot, tasty baklava. I don't know if they really serve it.
Hot,
you know, by the way, I don't like baklava.
I'm not a big baklava fan either. The honey, it's a little too sticky. It's a
little too sweet for me. It's like every layer, because you got that phyllo dough that's so layered and so kind of, it's a very, very sweet bite.
Yeah, and I don't love the mouthfeel of it. I don't like the way it kind of squishes together when you buy it. Like I'm sure if you have the best of the best, it's really, really good. But for me, it's like, and I don't think about food this way that much, but like if I'm going to eat sweets, something that is like dessert forward, then I have to really kind of like it. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense, but like I hate using this phrase, but like I'm not going to waste my sweet calories on baklava. You know what I mean? I'd just eat a piece of sheet cake or something like that if offered. My other thing was I wish they had gone in a little bit more about how the business works. I know that sounds like boring because this is obviously an incredibly well-written piece and it has all of
Wells
the color.
is a great
I mean,
writer.
of course, to say that is an understatement and silly, but. And I know that I have a tendency to always just be like, yeah, but what are the nuts and bolts? Let's get into the. Did you add any compression to the audio? Like, nobody cares about that kind of shit. But it does say, it says, many of the sales techniques he honed as a dealer in controlled substances have been put to use by the baklava guy. He is easygoing, chatty, and able to keep up a stream of patter without sounding rehearsed. He tells customers that the baklava is layered and frozen in Turkey and then baked, quote, in the kingdom of New Jersey. Again, He is a master of
marketer.
marketing. And then they show a photo right below that graph of people eating the baklava. We see it often in like these trays where he's just like, they're not individually wrapped, but we do see that he serves them on little pieces of paper, almost like large index cards that are printed with like his logo and they're purple. And it's, again, very, very nice graphic design on this. It does the trick. And so he's really into marketing, but I'm actually very interested in knowing, like, it sounds like he does have a supplier somewhere who sends this to him. Like, I would love to know, like, how is he storing it? Does he, like, you know what I mean? Like, this stuff doesn't last forever. Is it really coming? Is he just like, you know what I mean? Is it sort of down market baklava that he's actually just buying somewhere in Jersey? Or does he have his own supplier that does start in Turkey? Like, what's going on here? Because that's actually quite a bit of work.
Well, back to the master of marketing thing. I think really what it is him wandering the streets selling baklava off of the plate, off of the dish, is probably more marketing than anything because it's a cool story. Pete Wells wanted to write about it. I'm guessing that he's also figured out a supply chain where he's selling, shelf stable, wrapped, packaged, food safe, whatever you want to call it, baklava, right? Because they show some of that too in the article. I think. Like, I don't think the whole business is him baking it in the kingdom of New Jersey and then going out selling it one square at a time loose off of the thing. But that's actually a better story. Like, I think what he has a baklava company now that sells it, but his marketing end is going in front of Madison Square Garden and taking hyphy videos with a bunch of delirious Knicks fans with the baklava. Does that make any sense?
No, it does, but that's still the distribution. I'm still interested in knowing, like, kind of I would like to know more about the supply of this stuff. Like, is it good baklava, or is it just like, it seems to be like when you look at it in the
My guess is it's average.
Yeah, and the way, I mean, there's a shot of him, yes, in crowds of people holding a pan of this stuff or being out in a park, but there's also a shot of him like in his office or his workplace with like several pans laid out in front as if they were just like baked. So like I assume that somebody is baking these kind of locally, but I don't know. I'm just a little bit more interested in like what is he actually selling? And people can buy this online now, right? Like that's what you're saying. That's where probably most of the money is coming in.
I don't know about the online portion of it. I guess I'm just saying that this guy is very, very good at marketing. I don't know the answer to the supply chain questions that you've raised, but I guess what I noticed in the article was that I think that he's very aware that the idea of him marauding New York in his baklavan and getting out and selling it to people is a cool scene and makes it seem very kind of like bootstrappy. But I think he's building a pretty imagine just like you had, a cookie empire where you sold individually packaged sealed cookies that would be at the, by the counter in a bodega or something. I get the sense that he's building that business probably, and that's probably more where the real money is than going around selling baklava one piece at a time.
And the merch. He's also like, I'm on his merch
Yes.
site right now. Like he's got tons of t-shirts and stuff, many of which are going for $40 a t-shirt, hats for $35 or $30 rather, or whatever. So yeah, I mean, no, I have no confusion about the fact that this is a marketing thing. Obviously, his whole thing is he seems like a bit of a cult of personality and a guy who's like very much into his own sort of lore or legacy or whatever. So yeah, that is not lost on me, and I don't mean to give that impression. I am just legitimately more curious about like where he's getting this stuff.
There's a right way to rock and a wrong way to roll. You can't just listen to your soul. Just remember that life is number one. You can be having so much fun. Just remember that life is much fun. You can be nothing but
Whoops.
Whoa.
Sorry, I was switching screens there. Did I hear a bass drop in there?
I did.
Too?
I was going to ask you if you heard. I put a little subtle, what I thought was a subtle little bass drop underneath.
I call it a beat drop, but okay.
Well, it's just two tastes that go great together, obviously.
Yeah.
All right. I think most people know how the Blur's Days work, but maybe not. If you're celebrating a Blur's Day, yours or somebody else's, want to drop me a short little message wishing somebody a happy birthday on the air, email me, andrew@tbtl.net. That's my email address, andrew@tbtl.net. And make sure you put Blur's Day in the subject line. I got this note. It says, Happy Blur's Day to my dear husband, Max from Brooklyn. From his wife, Jenny. We're spending this...
Wait.
Well, go ahead.
Okay, I see. Max from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I thought, because Brooklyn is also a name sometimes, so I got confused.
Oh, happy Blur's Day to my dear husband, Max from
Brooklyn.
I see. That might have been a little bit on
Brooklyn
me.
is not the name of Max's
No.
wife, obviously.
My
wife. Gotcha. Okay, I'll just clarify.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's a good clarification. And also, I might have been reading that in a bit more of a...
The wife's name is Queens.
That's absolutely right. No, but Max is the person who made... Max is obviously a friend of the show, has done a lot of stuff for it, but also, didn't we open the show yesterday with...
oh, yeah.
Barkett Place? Wasn't that
Sure.
Max's? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Max from Brooklyn, happy birthday from his wife, Jenny. We're spending this ends in a zero birthday on opposite coasts, but he deserves to be celebrated. A devoted 10. Oh, that also ends in a 0. Well, little observation from me, Andrew. A devoted 10, an amazing artist, and a man who treats his friends like family. He's one of a kind, and I couldn't imagine a better
family
partner.
like friends.
I couldn't imagine a better partner in life. Happy birthday, Max. Indeed, happy birthday, Max. We've worked with Max a lot in recent years. Great
This is
guy.
our friend Max, the actor, illustrator, Dreyfus
impersonator.
aficionado.
Exactly.
Because we've got a couple of Maxes out
got
there
Max
in the world.
Seattle,
and we may
yeah.
have a few of them. I didn't know if we even maybe had other Maxes in New York, but now I know the Max that you're talking about.
Oh, Max. Brooklyn.
I know a guy who's at his Max.
Julie says, this one is for Howard in Albuquerque. Happy Blurs Week, Howard. May you get some good rest after keeping the wheels of democracy turning at the polls for the last 2 weeks. What you do is so important. It is so important. Happy Blurs Day, Howard.
I knew I should have taken that left turn at Albuquerque.
Thank you for playing that so I didn't have to do my terrible impression of it. Evan sent in a tribute to Lisa. I will give you my
Would you say this email is Evan sent? That's pretty good, dude.
That's
honestly.
pretty good. No,
I'm
I like
proud
that.
of myself.
I like that a lot. And I'm gonna abbreviate it a little bit here on the fly because it was quite the tribute. But I will read here. Today we celebrate a true 10, a woman who is beautiful, funny, thoughtful, endlessly kind, and somehow still willing to spend her time with an 11 like me. We've shared a lot of laughs, stories, and inside jokes together. But one of my favorite things is that we'll always have Andrew's personal cell phone number because he once called and left a thank you voicemail. I don't know if I remember that particular one. I know I'm wont to do that every now and then. I called listener Nancy the other day because she was having trouble with a T-shirt, I think. But yeah, I don't know if I remember this thank you voicemail that I left. But yep, certainly sounds like me. Thank you for the joy you bring into my life. This is now Evan speaking to me, by the way. Thank you for the joy you bring into my life, for the way you make ordinary moments feel special. Boy, thank you, Evan. And for being the person I most look forward to talking to at the end of the day. Again, all of that, I believe, was directed towards me at the end, which is really, really sweet. But also, happy Blurs Day to Lisa from Evan.
Evan also tagged his email to you, Andrew, with this.
I hate you because you look different.
Yeah, fair enough. Corinne says, Blurs Day is coming early this year for Cheryl and Corvallis. When we met up in Portland a few years ago, I couldn't have dreamed that you would quickly go from being TBTL royalty I've met in real life to, honest to gosh, one of my very best friends in the world.
Oh,
Thank
that's
you.
sweet.
It really is. It really is. I was seeing this earlier, and I was like, man, what a great little TBTL story this is. We have millions of these little stories. Thank you for enriching my life just as you do for so many others. May you have a fun-filled birthday and a year full of more peace, love, and joy than you can possibly imagine. Happy Blurs Day, Cheryl.
Peace and love. Peace and love.
Got this note from Robert who says, not trying to be funny, not trying to make anyone have the worst day at their job, but would either of you effers like to wish my wife Jamie a happy 50th birthday? P.S. Horse bleep. I was editing that, by the way. Robert used all the real words, yet somehow it made it through my spam filter. Morgan says, could you please wish me a happy Blurs Day this week?
Sure can.
This past year has been so great. Engagement, new jobs, fun vacations, and more TBTL. Thanks for being part of it and my next year to come. Absolutely. Well, thanks for making us part of your next year to come. And happy Blurs Day, Morgan.
Congratulations.
Happiest of Blurs Days to my 5, who is also a 10. Finley on his 10th Blurs Day.
What up, Finley?
Double digits. You made it. Now start paying some bills. JK
Seriously,
Finn.
come on.
We love you and can't wait for fun adventures this summer. Signed, Admiral Badoodle.
Okay.
I salute you, Admiral Badoodle. Eddies. You tell admirals to be at ease? No, admirals tell us to be at ease, right?
Yeah. You probably don't. You don't tell them to be at ease. Is that across the military at ease? That's not just a army thing.
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I'm always
bad
at
with
ease.
this stuff.
Yeah.
These are my medals, mother.
Genevieve and I, wait, hold on. Can I recall it, though? This is the problem. So Genevieve and I always say the first part of that line. These are my medals, mother. I won them in Army. The seal is for marksmanship. But we can never remember what the next line is.
I thought it was this. I thought the seal was for sand racing.
No, the next thing is for sand racing. Because Genevieve just looked it up. He says, the seal is for marksmanship. And I want to say Alligator? It's not alligator, but it's something like that. Is for sand racing. Are you looking it up now? Can we actually get audio on this? Because I know that Genevieve was able to find it the other day. I'll just buy you a little bit of time with some sweet bass licks.
I don't know if this is going to. I'm playing something called Buster.
Buster!
Yeah.
God, you're back. There's no shame in being a coward.
Coward? I'm not a coward. Would a coward have this?
What the hell is that?
These are my words, Mother. From Army. The seal is for marksmanship, and the gorilla is for sand racing.
Gorilla.
The gorilla is for sand racing.
I love the tone he's taking.
Tony Hale.
Oh, by the way, we talked on the show yesterday about getting flagged for the music at the beginning and end of the show. This is no joke. You would think that I'm joking based on the silliness of this track, but this track also gets identified usually as.
Can I ask? I know this is not going to work with Ben Lee, but do you think I can ask Tim Heidecker when I interview him in a couple of weeks if we're allowed to use this?
Maybe I can.
Who owns this?
I don't have
a real thing.
I feel like it is tied to. And it's not like a TV network. It is somebody owns the rights to it, and I don't think it's like the High Network or whatever he calls himself. I can actually dig into that later for you.
Oh man,
that'd be pretty good. All right, how about this? Peace and love to Kelly from your book club buddies Cecilia, Christine, and Kathy. We look forward to meeting you for real at an in-person book club meetup someday. Maybe we can make the Vetter Cup a thing. I'm sure we'll talk about the book the same amount at a Mariners game as we do on Zoom. Until then,
somebody else's birthday.
That's right.
It's not going to be about you today.
We're happy to be your imaginary friendos. Happy Blur's Day, Kelly. And remember, Luke's mom is never invited to book club. Wait, I just made up that last part.
There ain't nothing like soup.
This is going to be confusing because I got a note here from Andrew, but my name is also Andrew. Okay. So this is not from me. Can you keep that? Does that make sense?
Yeah, let me see.
So my name's Andrew Walsh, right?
Okay, gotcha. Yes, okay.
This person signed their email Andrew J.
Okay.
So I'm assuming this is Andrew J. Walsh?
Andrew J. Fox.
I just confused myself. Maybe I'll just skip it. Andrew says, happy 8th Blur's Day to Cece.
Cute.
Did I swear right before this Blur's Day to an 8-year-old, by the way? I think I might have.
I don't think so.
Okay, I hope not. Happy 8th Blur's Day to Cece. We love watching you grow into a kind, smart, and creative kid. You are the best medium big sister your brother could ask for.
Come on.
We hope you have a wonderful birthday. Love, Mom, Dad, Grant, and Kona.
Cute.
Got one more in you, Luke? Can you stick around for one more Blur's Day?
Are you kidding me?
All right, here we go. This is Jen in suburban Chicago, writing in to wish myself a happy golden Blur's Day.
Love it.
Considering I don't remember my actual golden birthday, I'm very glad that golden Blur's Days exist. Appreciative to have survived another year and looking forward to hopefully more Blur's Days to come. On a separate note, I, for one, love all of the Lucy content. Please feel free to share whatever you are comfortable sharing with us. I have 3 dogs, and they are wonderful creatures. I know they are. Happy Blur's Day, Jen.
Happy Blur's, Jen.
Happy Blur's Day, Jen. Yeah, okay, I'll just tell you this about Lucy. Lucy will be graduating from puppy kindergarten tonight. I will not be there because, as I was explaining to her in the kitchen earlier, I am a deadbeat dog dad who's going to be on a I'm going to need a tavern to stop at on my way home from Redmond today because of the journey that I will be taking.
Absent father.
Absolutely.
Is Lucy's last name Walsh or Has?
That's a really good question. I think in some systems she might be associated more with Genevieve. I think that Genevieve filled out all the paperwork and got things going with the adoption agency, so I'd assume that she's the first.
History is written by the winners.
Yeah.
And now, the graduating class from Ahimsa. Lucy Has Walsh.
Oh. I went to swell it on my end and remembered I can't swell it.
They grow up so fast, Andrew.
They really do. I'm getting a little choked up, which is why it's... It's hard for me. I don't.
Please, everyone, hold your applause until the very end of the graduation. Otherwise, we'll be here for a long time.
We should get her a little mortar board, right? First,
Probably
throw it up in the air.
Here's the thing, Andrew. Somebody makes a chew toy of that.
Absolutely.
And somebody is in Federal Way with it right now, and Genevieve is driving there to get it for free. Somebody paid full price
with a ladder
for a graduate chew toy that is a graduation hat that you can actually chew on. And somebody is selling it for pennies on the dollar.
I don't know if you know this, Luke, or if you've heard this anywhere or picked this up in your travels, but buying new things for dogs is a sucker's game.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And you know me, nobody likes to overpay for something brand new like old LB, but even I have to admit that's the way to go.
Well, you know what's really sweet,
unless you get a speeding ticket on camera,
right? If it doesn't
you the price of 4 dog beds.
Exactly. You know what's kind of sweet is when we picked out Lucy's very first, what do you call it? Harness. Thank you. You saw me doing the harness symbol on the video.
Either that or you just scored a touchdown in overtime and got up. That was your celly. You were doing a touchdown celly.
It was interesting, whatever I was doing there. First time we got Lucy her first push-up bra. No, when we got her first harness, I think we overestimated her size or something, right? So we got one that was a little bit too big, so then we ended up getting a whole bunch. We just had so many harnesses, but then we found the right size for her. Small little guy, extra small, I think was her first one. But then, of course, she quickly outgrew it.
Yeah.
But as I told you, we met her sister at these puppy training classes, and her sister is still a tiny little guy, and so she is now wearing Lucy's old harness. Is that not?
Look at that. Cute. What's that dog's name?
That dog's name is Gidget.
Oh, right. That's
second.
a great,
yeah, took me a second.
dog name. So.
Sweet, sweet little dog.
All right. That's going to do it for today's episode. I hope to see some folks down at the Alberta Rose Theater tonight for Livewire. Fun night in store. Jackie Cation will be there. We love Jackie Cation. And for the rest of you, we will see you on the podcast tomorrow right here at about, recording at about 10 a.m. West Coast, but then you'll get it when it hits the internet.
Luke, we're like 3 minutes away from hitting a 2-hour show. I just want to let you know that. Well, I guess we stopped down a couple of times, so when I
do we unlock something at the 2-hour mark other than
I think I get time and a half, don't I?
You haven't been in time and a half already?
No, for me it rolls over.
I've been in penalty time. I've been in penalty this entire show, and that's a good thing, by the way.
Yeah, it's probably
you learn that on union shoots. Being in penalty is actually the best thing that can happen.
Is penalty? I thought you were making a hockey reference.
No, like penalty is another way. Well, when you're on a SAG shoot, at least my memory of the few SAG Screen Actors Guild shoots that I've been on, which the ones that I'm on for CBS are not, they don't fall under that category. But when you're in penalty time, it's like you've been there for longer than the SAG contract allows on a given day, and now they're having to pay you extra.
I see. That's penalty time.
So I remember, when we were in like filming that beer commercial in Canada, and me and my friends didn't know any of the terminology. The producers kept coming to us and going, "We're about to go into penalty. So would you..." One time, and I think the statute of limitations has expired on this, I remember a producer going, and again, remember, our job is to literally drink beer and hang out and get filmed occasionally doing this. And the producer came to us and gathered us together in one of the trailers and said, "Okay, we're about to go into penalty. Would you all consider just accepting like $500 in cash each? Just to go and then not put this on the thing." Basically, it was like buying us off, like saying, like, don't report this as penalty time.
To the union.
So this is bad, that we were being bad union members, although I don't think we even knew what the heck was going on. But we were like, wait, so you want to give us $500 more cash so that we will keep drinking beer for an extra 20 minutes while you're filming it? And they were like, yeah. So that was probably, that was bad. That was union busting. But boy, I'll tell you, I really enjoyed that $500.
I'm sorry, I got distracted because I'm trying to fill up this giant inflatable rat that I got for this occasion. I also realized
you would have taken the money too.
Oh, are you kidding me? I would take the money right now. In fact, give me $250.
We're about to go into penalty, Andrew. Can I pay you $500 to not report this to John Sklar?
All of the talk of copyright or whatever, I forgot. I'm not supposed to play Words by Dubs.
Well, that's what I was wondering.
We're like, what the hell was I doing there?
We didn't have an official meeting on it.
No. So this is, we're going back to Surf
Ninja?
Surf Ninja 3 by, I believe, House of Mango.
How the none of the Ninja Turtles, I mean, they say Cowabunga Dude.
Mm-hmm.
They have a certain kind of, Spicoli vibe, but none of them carries a surfboard as their weapon.
That's true. I don't
No,
have they even
katana. We have whatever those.
do they surf at all?
Well, no, but they say Cowabunga Dude. There must
do.
have been a time where one of them surfs, right?
Well, here's the deal.
I mean-
and I don't want to get into why I know this, but it's from listening to like a kind of a recap podcast about the Ninja Turtle movies. And it's not really the universe of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but somehow related is a movie called Surf Ninjas. And I believe there's some DNA. And I don't know if it's creative DNA or if it's just like maybe an actor was in both of them. It might be like, do you remember in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, they had some human friend who was kind of a long-haired, badass guy, kind of tall, wore a trench coat and had shoulder-length hair, or maybe longer hair than that.
Well, not the one. Somebody's girlfriend wore April, right? She wore a trench coat.
She wore a trench coat, but there was another
like a reporter
character
or something.
Yeah, she was a reporter, but TMNT characters.
Well, good news. We made it to 2 hours.
Yeah, we're definitely trying to do that here.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out if...
Is it Casey, maybe? Is it Casey Jones? Is that the Casey
Better look out.
Jones TMNT? I think that's... Yes, he was not in a trench coat. He wore a hockey mask. He had longish hair, had a hockey mask, and carried hockey sticks. And he went around fighting, I believe, on behalf of... I believe he was part of the team at some point.
I asked the internet, did the Ninja Turtles ever surf? And they say, again, AI overview, yes, the Ninja Turtles have gone surfing multiple times in their video games, in something called Turtles in Time from 1991, in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, the Hyperstone Heist of 92. I guess there have been, at times, the Ninja Turtles have been seen surfing as part of the plot of a particular episode, but it's definitely not. It's not like there wasn't a Ninja Turtle whose thing was carrying a surfboard.
Yeah,
and
I couldn't
whacking
really picture
people
that.
with it.
I wonder if skateboarding plays more of a role. I know it did.
That seems way actually right. New York City.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay.
well, good job.
Well,
Hopefully, we made it to
hey.
2 hours there. I think we should have maybe covered it a little
Just
bit.
let the music run if we didn't.
Yeah, it's free now.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks. I already did the goodbye, so we'll see you tomorrow. Please remember, no mountain too tall.
And good luck to all.
Yeah, 122, 122 and an 8. 122 and an 8. Terrific. Where the heck is 122 and an 8?
You're standing on it, dude. Just slip it down here. Give me that.
Hey, this is a 10. The tab's 13.
You're 2 minutes late, dude.
Ah, come on. I couldn't find a place.
Wise man say, forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza.
I gotta get a new route.
Power out.